It has been quite some time, over 2 months, since I last did a vlog. I have compiled a list of things that I wanted to talk about. There is a lot to cover, so it may be split up into 2 videos, but I'll try to cover what I can cover. First, new location. Not really permanent. I'm just down here because my mom wanted to use my room as a guest room for someone coming from South Africa, and so I let her. And so I'm sleeping down here and using her computer instead of my own. Which means that this might not be uploaded immediately after I film it, because I have to be on my computer to edit it and then upload it, so it might take a while. So, this will probably be up by the 10th. If it's not up by the 10th, then I have failed, and yell at me some more, I guess. Anyways, I wanted to start off with TV shows I've been watching recently. I have seen the first 2 episodes of the 4th season of True Blood. I am very impressed. I mean, it does seem a little bit weird. It's getting odder and odder as it goes on. I will be catching up on seasons 1, 2, and 3 before I continue watching season 4. But as far as I'm aware, everything is so far good and intact, I guess. As far as the storyline goes, there's nothing out of place or something. I'm usually very good at catching that when the TV show switches up a few details or something. I can usually figure that out. I did miss a complete season, though. I think it was season 3. I didn't watch it all, so I am slightly confused about where people are and why they're there. So hopefully that'll be remedied when I watch the first 3 seasons all over again. The other TV series that I have recently finished watching is Game of Thrones, which I was very impressed with all throughout. It is, I believe, 12 episodes long? 10 or 12? I'm not sure. But I was very impressed with each one individually. The opening theme is probably my favorite opening theme of all time. I do recommend you watch it if you like medieval times and a little bit of magic and political intrigue. I loved the first season. I can't wait for the next season, even though it's coming out next year. Beginning of next year, sort of, I think. But long wait, but I look forward to it. Some TV series that I have just recently been acquainted with is Solitary and Misfits. Solitary is a psychological social experiment that pushes people to their limits, but it's a competition in which there are 9 people competing, but they never actually meet each other. They're just competing basically against themselves, and if they're the first to quit the challenge, then they have to go home. And if not, then they stay in the game and continue playing until there's one left and they get a prize at the end. I think some of the challenges are a bit extreme or unfair to the contestants because some people might have an advantage over someone else, but you do get to see how far people will go to win and what their breaking point is. And I do kind of find that intriguing, and so Solitary will be a TV show that I continue to watch. I mean, I've only watched the first season. I'll probably skip over to the third or fourth. But I do find it interesting. As for Misfits, this is one that Hulu just recently got up on their website. So it aired, I think, in 2010, and they're getting the rights for it now to release it every Monday. So far, there are 4 episodes in. I am interested in it. It's not as awesome as some of the other stuff that I've watched. However, it is interesting enough to hold my attention. It does have very unique personalities within it, and I think the plot is good enough to hold me, so I will continue to watch that as well. I recommend it if you like bizarre sort of superhero movies, although the most recent episode, the 4th one, got a little bit into the realm of what I don't like, which is like focusing on one particular character, trying to change it. I like it when they're all together doing stuff together, so that's just me, probably. Okay, so movies. I saw a lot of recent movies that came out. I saw Green Lantern, I Am Number 4, Priest, Limitless, Thor, and Sniper, the movie series 1 to 4. Okay, so let's talk about Sniper 1 to 4. It's basically 4 different movies following one guy until the 4th, which is the new guy, his son. But it's basically sniping missions and what they go through and how they go about it and so on and so forth. It was interesting, though I wouldn't recommend it for anybody because it was kind of slow. But it was interesting enough. All 4 were pretty much the same. Limitless was kind of an acid trip, I think. I followed the movie decently enough, but I didn't really get the point of it. It was kind of like a metaphor for drugs, perhaps, even though it made you super smart and stuff. But I didn't really like it that much. Usually I do. I like that kind of movie, but this one, not so much. Priest was a very interesting look at the church and how the movie portrayed it. I thought it was very well played out, except when it was focusing on the priests. I mean, it's a good action flick in and of itself, but I would have liked it more if they focused more on what the church was doing and all the problems that it was causing and stuff like that. I Am Number 4 was also interesting. Also a movie I typically like, but this time I didn't. I'm not sure what it was, if it was him being too human and coming into his powers and not really training with them and being able to use them well, and I don't know. It was a combination of stuff that just made me dislike it. I'd recommend it if you do like action-y type of movies that include magical powers and stuff, but otherwise, probably skip it. Thor was, as usual, interesting. Not the typical movie that I'd watch because it got reviews as being cheesy and not very good. I liked it a little bit. The whole scenery and God's powers and abilities and stuff, that was good. I liked that. The whole him getting cast out and going down to Earth and being like, "You can't cage me, I'm Thor," and then they like inject him and he falls over. Really funny. I did like that part. It was very comedic. So I would recommend that movie. I can't really pinpoint what I didn't like. It was just something about it that just didn't make me like it as much as I could have. Green Lantern was also alright. I would have liked it more if I had seen him like training a little bit more, because I mean it is a will thing with the ring, but he didn't really practice much. I mean, he had the one spar, but that wasn't really practice. So another one where he just kind of comes into his powers and uses them to fight off evil. Plot was good. I liked the plot. The CGI was amazing. But again, something I didn't really like about it. Seems like all these movies have something I don't really like about it, but I like them overall. I'm not sure what it is. Now, with that out of the way, the most recent stuff. A while ago, the military finally made up their mind about what they wanted to do after rejecting me and then saying you can go back in and have someone else take a look at it and then maybe you'll be accepted. And finally, they just plain out rejected me. So I'm not going into the Air Force. Ever, apparently. I'm not too disappointed about that, though. After all the time that I wasted waiting for them, I was a little bit pissed at them. I wanted to just call it quits myself, but I wasn't going to do that. So I'm kind of glad that they rejected me. Finally got that over with. I'm happy to get it over with. Still pissed at them. I shouldn't have taken them that long to get to me. But yeah, so that was sucky-ish. Another thing that really kind of irked me was that my recruiter emailed me and said, call me, and I was at my friend's house, so I don't have a phone to use, really. And when I called him, he said, yeah, you're rejected, in more words than that, and in kinder words than that. But I'm like, seriously, you could have just emailed me that. I didn't need to call you to fucking learn to use technology. Yeah, so anyway, that aside, I would like to talk about what happened last month. Pretty much for 3 weeks, a little bit more than 3 weeks, I was over at Matt and Jenny's house the entire time. I wasn't home at all. We basically purchased World of Warcraft and started playing again, leveled our characters up to 85 and started doing all of that content and stuff. So that was fun. It took up a lot of time. They still have time on their accounts. I let mine expire, so I'm playing on their accounts, getting them gear and stuff. And so I'm having a lot of fun with that. Watching movies and TV shows and doing all my regular online stuff as it comes around to being needed to be done. But otherwise I'm playing World of Warcraft or sleeping. Which, by the way, I've been doing like 10 to 12 hours a day, pretty much. I'll fall asleep at like maybe 9 in the morning and wake up at 9 at night and then play video games or whatever until whenever I want to go to sleep, and then I'll go to sleep. Wake up maybe at noon, stay up for a few hours, go to sleep again. So it's a terrible, terrible sleep schedule. But it works. I get sleep, and there really isn't that much more important to do than get sleep. So yeah, that works. And more recently, the 4th of July, one of our streets over on the side had a big block party, and there was lots of food, lots of entertainment, and I spent at least an hour and a half standing outside playing volleyball catch stuff with some of the kids around the block. I haven't stood that long since Costco, and that hurt a lot, but it was fun, and I had a good time, so I'm glad I did that. There was a barbecue later that day, but I didn't go to that because I was asleep. I would have liked to have gone to it if I hadn't been so tired and in pain, but that's what happened. So, looking back on it, I had a good day. It was one of the better days because I actually got to spend a little bit of time outside instead of down here in my little hole. And the big topic that I wanted to cover today, which would be cooperative gameplay. I dislike games where you have to rely on other people on your team to do well. If someone doesn't do their job, then you suffer. And I like games where you can be on a team, but the solo gameplay isn't bad. You can do really well on your own. Games like Crossfire, where if you're good at it, you can excel at it. Even if your team sucks, you just have to kind of work around it. Stuff like World of Warcraft, where you're in a dungeon and someone has to do their job in order for your team to succeed. Don't really like it that much. I mean, sometimes you get really good groups and it goes really well, but other times you just get complete idiots that don't know how to play, and it annoys the hell out of me. So, I'd like to know, what do you think of cooperative gameplay? Do you like having to rely on other people to do well yourself, or do you like being able to do well on your own and have a team around you that can potentially help you, but doesn't really hinder you that much when they do poorly? Let me know. And that was really all that I wanted to cover. So hopefully that didn't go on too long. Probably did, but that's okay. So, you've been updated for the last 2 months and 4 days since my last vlog. So yeah, I will see you next month, or in the next 2 months, or 3 months, whenever I really decide to sit down and do this. Because, I mean, it doesn't really take a lot of effort to sit down and do it. It takes a lot of effort to edit it all and then upload it, because that takes time, and I can't really do anything while I'm uploading, except like watch a movie that I've already downloaded or something, because if I'm downloading a movie while uploading the YouTube video, then it doesn't work so well because they kind of make each other go slower. So at any rate, I am now rambling and ranting, so I will stop that. Have a good day, month, 2 months, whatever, until I see you next.